Tilghman, the Balanced Life Coach, and I'm so glad that you're here for this special session that I wanted to put together on World Mental Health Day. Days like today remind us of something that we often forget, and that's this, that our mental health is just as important as our physical health. Many of us carry stress and anxiety or hidden struggles that nobody else knows about. But healing begins when we bring those struggles into safe places, into relationships where we are seen and we are known and we are supported. So today I want to share some powerful truths about how our brains and relationships are designed for healing and growth. And my hope is that you will leave with encouragement and some practical ways to move toward greater wholeness in your own life. So one of the most important truths for mental health is this: we are designed for joy. And joy isn't the same as happiness or excitement. Joy is the deep feeling we get when someone's face lights up because they're glad to be with us. So when you walk into a room and someone's eyes sparkle just because you're there, that's joy. And our brains grow and heal best when that joy is present. Joy builds resilience in us. Joy helps us bounce back from stress. Joy anchors us in hope. But when that joy is missing, life feels heavier. Trauma and stress and loneliness all drain joy from our lives. And that's why restoring joy is one of the most important things that we can do to take steps towards healing. Because we all carry wounds, wounds from our past. These things affect us. They affect how we're living in the moment, and they affect our mental health. So I want to highlight just a few ways that these wounds happen in us and see if any of these resonate with you. First of all, wounds happen when good things were missing. Maybe we needed comfort or encouragement and we didn't get it. And the absence left a gap in us. Or, wounds happen when bad things happen. Hurtful experiences like betrayal or rejection or abuse, they leave deep scars in us that impact us. Wounds also happen when we felt less than. We're comparing ourselves to others and we're believing we didn't measure up. That can cut just as deeply as direct harm can. And wounds happen when we misunderstand experiences. Sometimes we draw painful conclusions like, I must not matter, or I'll always be alone. Even if that wasn't the truth, we can jump to those conclusions and that can impact and wound us. So these wounds often lead us to make inner vows like, I'll never trust again, or believe lies like I'm unworthy. And when that happens, that shapes how we see ourselves, how we see others, and then how we begin to live in the world and in the present moment. So the good news is this: wounds can heal. Lies can be replaced with truth, and our stories don't have to end with pain. Because there's something incredible that can happen for us when we stay in relationship. And that's because healing doesn't happen in isolation. It happens in connection. Think about a broken bone. A cast doesn't actually heal the bone, but it just creates the right conditions for the body to heal itself. And in the same way, when we stay in relationship, when we get into communities of people that know us and love us and value us, and we feel safe and we feel loved, that creates the environment for our hearts and our minds to heal. Because we want to belong. Belonging answers life's deepest questions like, do I matter? Am I wanted? Do I have a place? And when we know the answer to that question is yes, something inside of us really begins to flourish. And the beautiful thing is that if we're in Christ, we do belong. And that question is answered as yes. But we can also get that question answered from other human beings around us, and that's so important. So how do we actually heal? Well, let me give just a few practical pathways to healing. First, connection with God. Taking time to sit in a quiet moment and simply ask, God, where are you with me in this moment? Doing that helps us experience his nearness and his care. Then we can build relational skills, skills like calming ourselves when we're upset, or returning to joy after stress, or really listening to someone else. Those are things that we can do to begin to change our mental pathways. And the beautiful thing is they're trainable. And by practicing them daily, it can strengthen our ability to stay connected even under pressure. Then there's this concept of emotional maturity. True maturity isn't about knowledge. It's about staying yourself while remaining connected to other people, even when emotions are difficult or you're feeling a bit overwhelmed. And then lastly, getting into a community of people. Communities heal. Friendships, families, and groups that live out love and encouragement and honesty and vulnerability, they can become powerful places of restoration in our lives. They're so important. So each of these things is a pathway that helps us move from surviving to thriving. And here's some simple things that you can start doing today to start putting some of that stuff into practice. And first of all, you can build joyful moments. What do I mean by that? Notice small things that bring delight. Maybe it's a laugh, it's a sunset, it's a kind word, and write them down in a gratitude journal. But go a step further. Don't just write down what you're grateful for. Write down why you're grateful for it, so that you can really get to the core of building joy in that moment. Next, check your relational circuits. Ask yourself, am I open to connection right now? And if you're not, that's okay. Just pause and breathe and reset before pushing forward in that interaction. Then let your face light up. One of the most healing things that you can do for someone else is to simply let them see that you're glad to be with them. Let them see joy. And it costs you nothing, but it gives life. Joy is contagious. So if you're sharing joy with others, you put them in a position to be able to experience joy themselves. And then lastly, invest in safe belonging. Create and seek out communities where people feel seen and valued and cared for, so that healing can begin to take place, not just in your life, but in the lives of the people in that community that you're building and that you're a part of. So as we wrap up, I just want to close with this. You're not alone. And on World Mental Health Day, we're reminded that healing is possible. Joy can be restored. Relationships can be safe again. And God designs you not just to survive, but to flourish. Jesus said, I came to give them life and give them life to the full. Give us abundant life. So let me leave you with 2 questions to carry with you. First of all, who is glad to be with you today? Who are you glad to be with? And how can you show gladness to somebody else? Because joy multiplies when it's shared. It's contagious. So thanks for joining me, and my prayer is that you leave encouraged and hopeful and ready to take a step toward greater freedom and greater flourishing in your own life, just as God intended for you.